dismissed or terminated, then you must know what's going to happen beyond that. And if the government is being vague about it, then this is, it is not ridiculous, but it's criminal, because then you have people now, in tension. They are frustrated. They are stressed because what going to happen to them in the long term, and that is, well, I'm not going to talk about from the womb to the tomb, but that is government obligation in this case, because these are government workers. These are not private. These are not people working for a private firm. These are people who are working for the government. So the government must be clear what's going to happen beyond that day after the day of termination. What happens to these people? Yeah.
And we're hearing that especially the directors and unit managers are the ones that have to reapply for the job. Maybe others, but for sure those. And that too can indicate, that
they might be on
the higher level people, where they will probably bring in other folks from outside to replace some of those. Good afternoon, caller.
Yes, Mr. Ra.
Yes.
I understand a document was signed. When it was signed?
Well, I think it was in 2016.
Who signed it?
All the political parties, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, what is sign it for?
Well, knowing station politics, they will sign something like that because it will never come to pass where they will have to act upon it. Yeah.
Was it signed to send home people or what?
No, it was not to send home people. They signed that if the government have no job for you, that they have rights to send you home, and I mean that is logical. But knowing the politics of station, yeah.
Well, why keep them on then? You just give them a politics job then?
No, listen, it is not that. Look, if the government have workers, if there is in certain departments that they have people that they don't have no more work for them, they will have to send them home. Yeah, but politics in station goes the opposite way. If I'm in government, whether I'm in a coalition or not, these people who is my voters, some way, somehow, they have to stay on. This has been happening since I think from the onset to now. So what they sign has no validity really.
There's no validity. When you sign, you sign.
Yeah, but how many times these guys are signing things, it doesn't mean anything.
Well, you don't know when that particular thing is going to become useful for whoever. When you're not there, somebody else is there.
Yeah, but in station politics, it always rotates, because if it happened on my watch, yes, I'm going to somehow put it aside. When the new government come into place, it's the same thing. If that same situation come up, yeah. Because you tell me a time that you could remember, you hear far longer than I am, that the government ever sent anybody home. Unless they really do something really that, it's totally not acceptable. But usually they just put them from one department and transfer them to another department.
You need to go to YouTube for the live stream. YouTube for the live stream. Radio station. Not Facebook ever.
Radio station on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, caller. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you?
I'm fine, you're fine.
How are you?
Okay, yes, I'm fine. I'm listening to the program, and some thoughts are running through my mind. Number one, you all are asking some good questions in regard to the situation around the civil servant. And something I have always said that I believe is the truth. What we really do miss in Statia, though, is investigative journalism. This is a time where, you have to have journalists who ask the critical questions. Because in any country, when, there are major changes like this and people are in need of answers, that's where, you have newspaper persons, journalists, who do their own investigations and bring the information forward to the people. And I really miss that. I mean, I've always missed it, but I realize that now more than ever, You need those type of individuals who can bring forward the information, in a very balanced way. So that's maybe something I hope that more of our young people would be considering studying in the future, because we do need journalists. We need more journalists to bring the story forward, because all these questions are being asked. Who is going to answer these questions? Number two, Statius and Franco are there, but they're not coming to the radio. I don't know if you have tried to invite them. Maybe you have. Maybe their agenda is very busy, but they have made it very clear that they do not answer to the people of Statia. They answer to Raymond Knox. That is something that Statia said on radio. That's number two. Number three, I've said it before, and this situation in Statia now reminds me of the frogs who pray to Zeus for a king. The frogs were not satisfied with the way they were going. They were going about their daily lives, and they prayed. And Zeus sent them a log, and they were not satisfied with the log or the piece of wood that he sent them, because they continued to complain, and they said, no, send us a king to rule over us. And then at a given moment, he said he got angry, and then, okay, you want a king? So he sent you a stork, and what does a stork do? Eat all the frogs, and that was the end of it. So the situation in Statia kind of reminds me of that. Not everybody wanted a king, but quite a few people wanted a king. And they were very vocal about wanting that king. And the king is there. So this is the result. And so I know that some are still happy that the king is there. But in my heart of hearts, I know that the majority of stations are not happy about that. And number four, Mr. Common Sense Department said, we are the politicians. But we have to be fair. When they were on the radio, we were saying, why they don't shut them out? This is a time for reflection. Let the Dutch do this and let the Dutch do that. Now they are silent for whatever reason. I have no idea. We are complaining. We like the frogs. We are complaining, and then we are saying, where are they? So, we are just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We are not moving forward. Someone told me in the week, we have said it many times, the only way out of this thing is for us to really unify, And I know you're not, and when I say unify, I don't expect 100% of stations to stand behind a common goal. But it takes a man, a woman who's humble enough to say, listen, you and I have been at opposing ends. I know I have said something to you, said things about you that maybe were not pleasing to you, and vice versa. But you know what? Let's see if we could come together and see what we need to do as a people to, first of all, get our elections back, and second of all, see what we can do to build Statia and to take Statia back, because that is what it is about. And if until that time, all the talk we're going to do, nothing is going to help, because the Dutch is there, they have the power, they have the control, we are people divided, and this is what's happening. So it's very sad to see what is taking place, but it takes a man or woman to be humble enough and say, let's come together. Ra, Glenn, Zandam, I know that some of you guys tried, because then the question is, what happened to the political platform that was there? What are those individuals doing? What are they saying? So all I am saying is, there's a lot of speculation. There's no real meaningful information coming out. We need investigative journalists to get the critical answers, so that these things can be brought forward to the general public. But remember, some of us pray to Zeus for the king. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, first of all, let me tell the audience that the Facebook feed is not working at this time. Facebook feed is not working, but you can follow the program on YouTube, radio station, and YouTube. I think you can follow the transmission there. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. I must welcome you back.
Yeah, you had a good Easter weekend and stuff like that?
Oh yes, I had a week out for Easter.
I didn't see you on the bay.
No, I was not there.
Okay. Rod there with you?
Yes.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ross.
Good afternoon, Colin.
All right. last caller there, she's a very vocal
We're not
woman.
hearing you much. You got to speak closer to the phone.
Yeah, the lady that just spoke.
Yes.
She is a very. I know she is. I guess she know who I is too. But where to start? It's so inchoate. The hillable spool is inchoate, and it leaves us to ponder in our minds where to start, how we gonna move forward. The way forward, which I said already, and I have to reiterate myself again, which the lady just said, unity. If we don't come together, we ain't going nowhere. I don't care who make the mistake, who ain't make no mistake, who think they done all that, but if we don't come together, we ain't going nowhere.
That's clear.
And look, this is a serious fact. If we don't come together, we ain't going nowhere. So might as well everybody stop talking. Because I don't listen to everybody talk for X amount of years. Okay? Now, I a particular kind of guy, right? I a particular man. When there's a problem, I have a solution. I don't run my damn mouth. Me run my mouth just because I have mouth to run my mouth. Come with a solution, fix the problem. You understand? Now,
You have some ideas about the situation going on now?
what situation? Because we have XYZ going on, a lot.
Well, what
So-
we've been talking about,
Sorry?
what we've been discussing here so far.
I don't know what really I was discussing so far, but you know me, I like to talk.
Okay, go ahead.
So, check this out. I'm going to start another business again.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Sorry?
Congratulations.
Say that again?
Congratulations. If you're going to start a new business, I'm congratulating you. We need entrepreneurs.
If all you don't know, you better ask somebody. Yeah. When I heard that word, my wife is a doctor. Yeah. My wife is a doctor, and I heard her mother said the word entrepreneur. For hell, I didn't know what a word means.
Okay.
So I had to go in the dictionary to find out what a word means.
You say you're going to start a new business. What's the business you're getting into?
Well, you know me, I was a chef,
Okay.
but I ain't cooking no more.
What you going to do now?
I don't know, something sweet.
You say you're starting a new business, so you must have an idea. You must have a plan already.
Like I say, something sweet. Something sweet. We bring in something sweet.
What's that? Explain a little more.
But it have a lot of nutrition factors. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do, and hopefully in next maybe month we should be operational.
Okay. Well, get all your things together, get all your documentation and your permits. Make sure all of those things are in place.
Oh, you're reminding me about that.
Well, if I don't remind you, somebody else will.
Smith. Yeah, that's the same reason why I'm not operational at this present time.
Well,
You
so,
know?
for the same reason.
Did I set you up to fail?
Yeah.
You remember some weeks ago, I say, how much freedom of speech we have here on this island? You following me?
Yes.
Yeah. How much, that's a question. That's a question. How much freedom of speech we have here on this island? Because if I really want to speak out, tomorrow, or maybe as soon as I'm done, somebody ready to XYZ. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to know how much freedom of speech I have, because I got a lot to say, just like everybody else. People got things to say, but they're scared to talk. Everybody listening to these programs. Everybody listening to these programs. I was a co-host on a program.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you forget that?
Everybody listening, but afraid to talk, afraid to call and express themselves.
Yeah, I mean, but how they're willing. But if and when we do decide to talk, the truth, you know, because it's the truth at first.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So when and if anybody ready for the truth, tell me so I could start to talk. 'Cause I'm still scared. I'm very skeptical of what I want to say and how I want to say it.
What is it you're afraid of? Who you're afraid of?
Sorry?
What are you afraid of, and who are you afraid of?
Afraid of you,
All right. Thanks. Thank you.
I'm afraid of you.
Okay. Okay.
Trust. I don't trust myself, much less to trust you.
That's no good.
Look. Let's cut all the, you know. Check that. Check this out. I'm a type of person, you know, and I'm very fond of alcohol. Okay.
Right.
It's been continuously said to me, you need to stop that practice of drinking alcohol. Why they don't stop selling it in the shop?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe if they stop selling it in the shop, you can still find another way to get it. So I think you have to have the discipline not to drink.
Okay, let me see if I can find another topic to bring up. I hear a gentleman calling on not your program. I think it was Monday night on Secret Cathy's program.
Yeah.
Okay, and the gentleman speak about these golden rock houses. I gonna raise hell right now. My mother passed away. I was left there. XYZ. Jesus Christ, we didn't even bury my mother yet. And I heard they want to take the house on me. It became a issue. It became a talk. I was in the damn spotlight. Not in a good spotlight either. Because I couldn't believe that really and truly they really wanted to put me up at this damn house.
How long you have been living there?
Sorry?
How long have you been living in the house?
46 years.
Wow.
46 years I'm living here in Golden Rock.
So did you go to the Housing Foundation to have a talk with them?
The Housing Foundation, they have a Housing Foundation. Let's start there.
Who you just pay rent to?
Do they have one?
Who you pay rent to?
I don't know. One of them. Paying rent to one of them.
Well, if you have an issue with the house, then you need to go to the
One of them.
to the owner of the house.
Smith.
Yes.
You, I'll tell you straight up. You just try to run away from the fact. You understand?
Okay.
I is a serious man. I don't play games. I don't play games. You're either going to deal with the situation or you don't going to deal with the situation. Okay? Now, check this out. Housing Foundation, they got board, they ain't gonna board. Who the hell really and truly? Maybe I shouldn't be paying no rent. I ain't hear you.
Well, you're paying because you know you have to pay. So let's start there.
I need a roof over my head.
Well,
Yeah,
so for the
I
same
gotta
reason,
pay.
for the
If I
same
don't have
reason.
my own house, I gotta pay.
Well,
But situation is very low. Service is bad. Hey, they've been talking about how much years now books selling these the first phases of houses in Golden Rock. Is that ever going to come to pass?
yeah, we don't know.
I don't know.
Sorry,
No, we don't know.
you
But-
don't know.
You living in the houses,
But check this out. Do you feel it's high time that they actually get that done? Maybe I don't have no money to pay for the damn house.
yeah,
But at least give us the option. Give us the opportunity.
yeah.
Well, like I say, it's been talk for a long time, and it's been in process.
More than 20 years.
Well, it's been in process
More
for a
than
long
20 years,
time.
Mr. Smith.
Yeah, yeah.
And
well,
yeah,
It's a blasted shame.
Yes.
since I came here,
Curacao,
it's a long time.
St. Martin, Southie Road.
Mm-hmm.
They build their houses after we. You know how much they sell them for? $1. A lie? Check it out.
Okay, I know.
If you don't know, go and find that information and then come back and talk to me.
Yeah.
Okay? They sell them for $1 freaking dollar. Station can. I don't know. Maybe I could find $10,000. I don't know. Tell them make a price. Step up to the damn place. 'Cause I wait till the bat the ball.
Okay, you need to give somebody else a chance to call in.
Yeah. I will
So,
do that. I will do that.
Next time you get
Yeah,
another
I will do
opportunity. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your call. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Okay. Anyway, that was a long interruption. We have about 10 minutes more on the program. So, folks, again, you can go to YouTube. Is Facebook working again or not? So, you can go to YouTube radio station to follow the program there because the Facebook is not working at this time. So, anyway, good afternoon, caller. Good afternoon, caller.
Glenn.
Yes.
This is Shanara. Good
Hi,
afternoon. How are you?
Shanara. I'm good. How are you?
Mr. Ra, it's been a long time.
Hi, good afternoon. How you doing?
Glenn, I'm a little disappointed in you, because you have the Common Sense Department calling in to ask the politicians what they're doing for the people that are in this situation. And you are a politician with a party, the Blanco,
Yes.
and I ain't hearing what you doing. I don't know if you're losing it or why. You run some news there to me. What's going on?
Well, I'm talking. I'm here on the radio putting the issue forward to the public.
But as a party, what are you doing? I mean, not as the Homeland Defense Program now, as a party itself.
Look, what we are doing now, we are gathering information. You hear that the information is scarce. We don't really know what is going on. There are not many facts that are given out to the public at this time, not even to the civil servants themselves. So the first thing we have to do is gather information, find out exactly what is going on. You cannot, well, and in terms of actions to do, well, there's limited any outside politician can do right now other than speak to the issue. You need to bring awareness of the issue. We've talked a lot about, the fact that we have a foreign government running the island and what they promised that they were coming to do, and now we are seeing something different is happening. So our job is to inform the public, and that's what we're trying to do.
But at the same time, you have a title, which is a politician. You have a party.
Yes.
So you're disappointing me. I know you to be like this. I thinking now you coming on, you have two positions as a radio host and the politician, but I ain't hearing the political side of you. I only hearing the other side. So it makes me question, like, well, what Glenn
Well,
you dealing with?
when you're a politician outside the government is different than a politician inside the government. Yeah, you hear a call just now for the former elected government, right? Who say they are still the elected government. Of course, they have a different role than a politician who's outside. But the main thing is that we have to talk about the issue. Talk about the issue. Let the civil servants know. Let the community at large know what is happening.
But let me
Yeah,
ask
and-
this then, because
yes.
then maybe I'm in the dark. If you have a party and the way the situation was of the Dutch coming in, etc., what is then your power? Can you, do you communicate with them? Because I would expect that you have certain understanding of what the law entails, so you should have power as well. When I mean power, I'm speaking about in terms of communication. Hey, on behalf of the Blanco Party, XYZ, isn't that
Well, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing here every week. I'm communicating. I don't have power as such. I have power to
No,
communicate.
I'm talking about to the higher body now, not to the community anymore.
Well,
You
of
already
course,
covered that.
of course, we talk to the higher authorities. We talk to people who would know. Like I say, we are looking for information. We're trying to get information. I spoke to some folks in the past week to get some additional information as to what is going on.
And when you
Yeah.
get the information, what is your plan next? You then going to contact Holland, or you're
No,
going to
no.
continue?
We're
What
going to
what is then your party? then,
right
not
right now, the plan is to share the information with the public, to enlighten the public as to what is going on. Yeah, and then when we know more facts as to what is going to happen, well, then we can do other things. We can go to the wider media. We can put things in newspaper. We can write letters to Holland, to the Parliament, and all those kind of things when we know exactly what is happening. We
Okay.
cannot send information over there or question people over
Okay,
there on
yeah.
facts that you don't know exactly. We hear that 40 people are going home. That we know. But we need to get some more information, some more facts as to what exactly the intention is. There's still a lot of questions.
Okay, and you still can't do that through your party by making a day to visit the
Yeah.
government and hey, XYZ?
Yes,
Because
well,
it's going to take forever hearing from the community, because people are not going to call in
Mm-hmm.
based on their concerns. So it would take forever. So it's kind of like a waste of time
yes, so
waiting
we
on the
are
community.
going to try and talk to the people in charge here. Yeah, we're going to try and talk to the people in charge here to find out what's going on, if they are going to share information with you at this point. Yeah, so that is the.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will.
Well,
Well,
so-
let's hope. Let's hope then. Let's hope.
We're going to find out with the folks that are here, see what information they can share with us, but of course they're not going to give you information to, to obstruct what they plan to do.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be per se as a party, whether, like you say, either as a party or also as a host of this program. Because I want, as my main focus now, is to bring the information to the public. That's the main focus right now. Folks must know what is going on, both folks in the civil service and those outside the civil service.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
Any
I
other
just have to call
question?
in because it's been a long time, and listening to y'all
Yes.
today, I was like, I really understand.
I haven't
but
heard your voice a long time. Any other question? Any other subject?
Nah, not right now.
How's the
I'll
new job going?
We didn't start as yet.
Didn't
We are
start as
still
yet.
waiting on some stuff.
Okay.
I heard good news last week, so we are still waiting on some stuff, actually.
Okay.
And then we'll get started.
All the best.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Okay, have a good day. Bye.
You too.
You
Bye.
too. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Okay, so good afternoon, caller.
All right.
Yes.
That document was signed. Where you could find the document?
I don't know where you could find it, but it's in what Glenn was saying, the civil servant the civil servant laws, the regulation for the civil
You
servant
have
is in
to go
there.
on the internet. You can go on the internet and find it, I guess, on the
Yeah, I think you
on
get it on the
Dutch
internet.
laws.
But it was signed by who?
Well, it was signed by the local government in 2016.
Who was in government?
Yeah, the government who was here, what they removed, the government that was removed.
So that means that's why they ain't saying nothing then.
Well, I don't know. I
But
can't
then-
tell you that.
When election time come back, who to vote for then?
Well, you must make up your mind who you want to vote for.
If a
Right.
man can't represent you, you can't for him.
You know, I guess that makes sense.
So then I got to vote for either you or Glenn.
You know.
What is it?
Yeah,
You can go
well,
on the list yourself too.
yeah.
Huh? You can go on the list yourself.
All
So you
of
can
that
vote. You
is
can
part
vote
of
for
it.
yourself.
Because only I talking every Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, the politician them is.
Well, that is what one of the callers said. We failed to put our indifferences aside, and we only making it easier for the Dutch to stay on the ground. Because if we put our indifferences aside and work towards the well-being of Statia, I think that will quicker give the Dutch the idea that they cannot stay on any longer. But as long as we are divided and fighting for I don't know what, because they really don't know what they're fighting about, then the Dutch will stay here for a long time. So it's up to the people to make up their mind.
Yes, we ain't going to get together here. So the Dutch will remain here.
Well, if that is the case, well, I
And
don't.
if the local man get back in government, he going to be like a puppet. He ain't going to have no power to do nothing. So when Holland tell you all the time, don't do this, don't do that, and you're still doing that, then they put the pressure on you.
Well, you have to put yourself in a position that you could not be pressured by them. That takes a bit of smarts to do that, because no matter what it is, you have to set up yourself in the right way. You have to be able to be independent in a certain respect. You cannot be totally dependent on them, because once that is the case, then there's no way you could avoid their pressure. So again, it left up to the people. What is it we really want? We have to make up our mind.
Well, they say you got to join a union now. The union will represent you now. I don't know with what.
You're not a member of the union?
The union can't join in the union. That can't stop them from letting go 40 people.
No, but are you a member of the union?
Huh?
Are you a member of the union?
Well, I'm trying to be now. But I want to know what the union could do.
Well, if they are laying off people and join the union, that can't help.
The union can't do nothing to that.
Well, if there's look.
Well, they can't stop the laying off, but
yeah.
they can negotiate
a better
a settlement.
a better
Help you
settlement.
negotiate the social plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
they cannot stop them from letting the people go.
Yeah. But suppose the majority, the 77, them demonstrate that they don't want this thing to happen and agree with it. What could happen?
They want to. Well, it's up to. Listen, the point is, people have to go. You could demonstrate, but the only thing they should demonstrate about is to get a better settlement. Because the point is, we have to be honest. If there's no work for these people, how could they keep them on?
Yeah, but you're saying all the time there's no work for these people. We don't know what the
Yeah, but okay.
reason is for the reorganization. They're saying that there's no work.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you're saying there's no work and maybe they plan to bring other people in.
No, well, no,
You know, so
that is not fair.
I mean, demonstrate. There's nothing wrong with demonstrating. It can't hurt you. You have nothing to lose demonstrating. You know, so if you feel you need to go out there and demonstrate, well, they're free to do that. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Strictly Carty online.
Yes, Mr. Carty.
How you all doing?
Okay.
Listen, following the discussion is very interesting. I feel that when I listen to Senada, she speak a mouthful, because we sending some mixed signals out there, if I may say so, when we are host of a program, just like how she indicated, she would want to know what parties are doing. when you listen to Common Sense, he too is calling and asking where the politicians are. And the people is directly now calling on the politicians. It is good when we have talk shows, but at the same time, if you're a politician on a talk show, the people is still looking for you to come up with some information. Information is essential. When I listened to the first female caller, she talked about professional journalism. When public opinion started a few years ago, I tried my best to present as much information as possible. What happened? I'm a testimony of that fear that people is inclined in today. When people look at Sifrikati and they will say he was outspoken back in the days, this is what happened now, why you see a lot of people is reluctant to talk. What happened is, back in the days, we planted a seed of fear in our very same people. We didn't know life was going to come the way it is today, and today that's why we are where we are and where we in. We need strong leaders to be able to advocate and come up with solutions right now to the problem that we are faced with. I feel that, like one of the callers talked about, put aside our differences, but at the same point in time, a lot of us, for whatever reason, is very hard. It seems to be cultured on the islands where it is very difficult for us to put our differences aside. What is happening right now is all our fault, because we had opportunities to rectify problems and make sound decisions back in the days. But back in the days, I'm talking about, I remember when I had you on the program, we had a discussion. There was a clip that I played with Reginald Zangam.
Yeah.
Right. And those are the times when information was not proven to the people, information was not forthcoming, and that's why we are where we are. A gentleman talked about the housing foundation. There's not going to be no sale for the housing foundation if you understand how the Dutch operate. It is on a rental basis. The opportunity when those homes were supposed to be sold has passed, has lapsed.
So how are you going to base on what you say that?
Because it's my analysis on how the situation is. Remember the Dutch, I listened to the Democratic Party program Friday, and they also talk about the Dutch is going to come in and do some evaluation.
Based on what? Based on what are you saying that the houses will never be sold?
I don't foresee that happening.
Okay, you don't foresee. That's your opinion.
That's just my personal opinion.
Another thing you said that we put fear in the people. Who put fear in the people?
Well, what I'm saying by fear in the people is the fact that over a period of time, when you look at where we are today, and you look at when a caller calls, and you look at when some other callers, they would say they're reluctant to speak because I feel, again, a lot of people is in fear. They don't want to speak out because when they look at certain situations that is going on the island, it's not moving forward. We had opportunities to discuss with the Dutch. Last week on my program, I asked the question, if a party goes in, they need to sit down with the Dutch and discuss where are we right now. If, let's say, Blanco Party get elected, where are we going to pick up? How are we going to move forward? Are we just going to continue with the present, or are we going to pick up from the government that was out?
What do you suggest? What should a party elected now, what do you suggest they should do?
No, I think the politicians like yourself are supposed to come forward and tell the people exactly how they would want to see the island move forward. Because this is why, for instance, Senara called and asked the questions to you. I feel that the questions that she asked is very, very logic is important because, again, when you listen to the Common Sense Department, he asks, where are the politicians? It is not just the outside government need to speak. It is all need to speak. Remember that I listened also that you mentioned that there was a platform. That platform needs to be revisited. And there's also been foundations such as Right Abroad Station. I don't know where their positions is on all of what is happening. But just like the caller and callers mentioned, that they need information. I think information is very, very important at this point in time where, like many who have said, don't seem to be knowing exactly where we are going.
So did you discuss this issue on your program last Monday?
If I discuss what I discussed on my program last Monday was the question that I asked: if if a new government goes in, what would happen? What would be the discussion? Because that's the point now. what would be the discussion? Where are we going? What are we doing to enlighten? Because I too is asking what's happening. Where are we going to go? I'm just putting food to thought in the sense like they posed the question in which I asked, what are we going to do? If you get elected, if any government get elected, if let's for instance Clyde Party get elected at PLP, they have a program moving forward. They probably would continue the same agenda point. But if the Democratic Party gets in, what would be their agenda point? If not for Blanco Party getting, what would be their agenda point? Because we are in a situation right now that I feel that the Dutch is going their direction, and some of us may not like the direction they are going. And for that reason, a lot of us is in a position, well, what is really happening? Because if you remember, the PLP had a program, they was doing their things, but then at the same time, they said that things was not going right, and when the end of it comes, they said that there was no illegality with finance or what have you. But we still have a Dutch group that is sitting here on the island with us. So how long they're going to stay is the next thing. And if the opportunity would come, would there be a referendum? Let's say, for instance, they put an election tomorrow or next 2 years. Do you think we should have a referendum for the way forward, seeing that all that we've passed? So these are some of the questions that, I have as well as other people concerned.
Well, as you say, Mr. Carty, there are more questions than answers. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I think all politicians basically are, all of us are in the dark as to what is going on in the island. Now we can see the effects of the administration. We know what's happening now in the civil service. We can look at other issues in the community, that are basically not being solved. There's not solutions for a lot of things. Yeah, but any government that is elected have to pick up from the situation as it is right now. Mm-hmm. You go in an election with a party program, and you sell a program to the voters, and they vote for you, and you go in and you carry out that program. Yeah, you ask about referendum and those type of things. Well, all of that has to come up in the discussion in an election campaign. Yeah, we have to.
You would wait until the election campaign to decide which future, or do you see us sitting down prior to that and having discussion to find out if that would be, because eventually we are indoctrinated in a constitution, but the people in 2005 voted for a different option.
Yeah, well, we have, like you say, there's a lot of talk about coming together and unity and all this kind of thing, and this is not a talk from today, not a talk from yesterday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about unity, but like I said many times here, everybody wants unity on their own terms. Yeah, so yeah. Well, I mean, okay, well, Mr. Carty said a lot of things, but, I don't know if, Good afternoon, caller.
Smith.
Yes.
Good afternoon again.
Make it short, because we have to
good
close the
afternoon,
program.
Mr. Cathy. Thank you for putting your input. Shenada? Yes, okay, we're going right back to where Shenada started. You is a host on a radio program, also a politician.
Yes.
When are you going to start to tell we people the way forward? Because I'm going to use a word now. You're an instigator.
Instigator of what? Yeah. What are instigating?
You're an instigator.
What am I instigating?
Just like Shenana said, you is a politician and also a host on a program. Instead of you bring information, and you have the information, you're just not disposing it.
I have information.
Yes, you have the information, Smith.
Information about what?
The island situation.
We're talking about the island situation every week.
Nobody else.
But you have the information, and you wouldn't bring it forward. Yeah. So, a lot of the dummies.
No,
the dummies
don't
out here, we don't know. We dependent on you to bring the damn information. You don't bringing it.
Okay. Don't
have
cuss,
a good afternoon.
Don't
Bye.
cuss on the radio. Anyway, The caller said earlier about professional journalists and that kind of thing. I mean, but we don't have professional journalist station. Station can't support professional journalists, but all of us, we go out, a lot of us on radio, on talk shows, and we go out and we look information. We try to get information where we can get it, and we bring it. Good afternoon, caller.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Smith.
Yes, Mr.
Man,
Brooks.
you're getting some licks here today.
Yes.
Well, I
Today's my turn.
And all the time I'm trying to come in, but I can't come in, so I have to listen to the full. But on the contrary, when you started your show, I wasn't really in tune. But I was busy doing something, but I picked up a lot from what was said.
Okay.
And what I'm gathering is that, what I was trying to say is that I was going to call you because you were giving information. In a sense, you were trying to let the community know that you know what's going on. And it was good for the young people to hear from you because you were concerned as to what is taking place. You said 40-something people they'll lose their job or whatever. But I wonder, are they really hurt? Are these people, I don't think they have reached to the point where they have been hurt. Mr. Smith, have you been hurt? Mr. Ra, have you been hurt? If you get a cautious thing, even the person next to you will know that you got hurt. And it's just, when my children were growing up, I want Stacia people to listen because the gentleman said, the one who was there, a lot of people listen. And the information and knowledge you get will help you along the way. Now, I taught my children, when they go to swim, the seaside, because they love the beach. Whenever you are swimming and you look back, because children or those who think they can swim, they just continue swimming. But when they look back and they realize how far they have gone, they panic. And I told them from before, listen, when you reach out there, don't panic. You either float and call for help. I listened to Singing Eve, and she reached to the point where her song which you turn on, the end of it, we go nowhere. No, she says swim or go nowhere. I don't want to quote it wrong. Swim, you neither can swim or you go nowhere. It's like you stuck. Now, what I told my children, when you reach out there and you are in a jam like this, float. You cannot swim no more. Maybe you just cannot swim no more, or you panic. Float. Get on your back, but you have a voice on you. Your mouth can open up. And one day, not too long after, we went out to the beach, and my daughter found herself far off from the shore. When I said, I hear, help, mommy, help, mommy, help. Because that's the word I told my child. Say, help. But I was there. She screamed out, help, and she lying down. She's floating. Because I taught my children to float, because I can float and swim. I show them all the maneuvers. These are things that in our school growing up as youth, our teachers have to be with us when someone comes from, I think it's the state side, we used to have them. They come to teach us how to swim. You all had this on station with all the children. I'm not even hearing that anymore. Where have your children, the rescue? What happened to all this educational stuff for your children? It's just put on the back burner. Call for help. Right now, they're asking you as a politician, what are you doing? The people are asking you what you're doing. But are you hearing from them but through the radio station? How many of them you see them going up with a plaque and saying something to the world? As Miss Valentina said, you need journalists. I mean, these are very good points. Who is here to bring it out? And Mordecai went out. Mordecai got a document saying every Jew should be killed, wipe out, and take everything that they have. He got that document, and he went by the palace in Shushan. And Esther was the queen at that time. And guess what? He screamed out, the Bible tells you, a lamentable cry. It reached to his heart that he screamed out, hey, help! We are going to be killed. Could you imagine today or tomorrow? I mean, somebody take my job. and I sit down there. Man, where you going to tell your children? Well, you better swim. You swim, but where you going to reach? You going to reach somewhere if you swim, but when you float and you call for help, you stand a better chance, because you're floating. Because the journey could be so far that when you swim and you swim and you swim, you panic and you just go down sinking, you go nowhere. But when you float, wherever the wind take you, wherever that you drift, but when you call and you say, help, somebody will be alert. I am always alert for my children. Always alert. I remember, I don't want to keep your thing now. I remember I was on the beach with some children for Sunday school. And they have heard from me. I taught them how to swim. And one of them went out, and I heard a sound. And I said, man, that child is, and he's a young, in age, 17. I said, that young man is in danger. And I call my children, Bradley, I call my daughter, I call to the one who should have been there watching them, along with me. They did not even move. I pitch out in that water, my children behind me, and guess what? I say, make a circle. Hold that young man. Push him. I going in the back now, but he holding me down because he's panicking. And I felt myself was going down too. But I say, listen, hold up all your strength. Push, make that circle. Push him from the back and one hole in the front and pull. By the time that child reached the shore, he was breathless. He said, Sister Brooks, I never forget that. Even when that child got married, I was there. And he tell everybody, if it wasn't for Miss Brooks, Sister Brooks, I wouldn't be standing here. And he told them my heroic work that I did. We have to be alert. Something is happening here. Are we sincere? Are we sincere? Speak the truth. Are we sincere? Mr. Ra, please, there is a way out. People of Station, there is a way out. Look to God, and He'll make a way for us. I am in it, but God is making. He's showing me all the time how I must maneuver, how I must go. And people of Station, don't afraid to tell your children what is going on. Let them know from now how they can build up themselves and move on. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you for the call. All right, we almost at the end now. We done past our time. Let's check this call. Good afternoon, caller.
Yes. Good afternoon, Smith.
Good afternoon.
What's going on?
I'm
you
good.
You say about 40 people going home, right? Okay, you was a politician, right?
Yes.
In government, right?
Yes.
Well, we need to know if these 40 people, if any one of them was put in politically.
If any of them was put in politically?
Oh, yeah, political appointment, yeah.
You understand? This is where the politicians, like you and the rest of them, when these 40 people reach to the plate, there's where the local politicians them got to step up and talk how to get a job.
Well, how they get a job really doesn't matter. The point is what they're going to do after they go home.
I understand, but you was one who was in the government. You should give an explanation because you should know who was hired and who wasn't hired.
No, no, it doesn't work like that, Mister.
What? So tell me how it works. Then.
No, number one.
40 people going home.
Yes, so number.
And these 40 people was hired by local people. You understand? So we need to know if they were hired the right way or not the right way. You understand what I mean? So then people could know what's what. Because if our own people got us in this situation.
Yes, so the first point is that we don't know who the 40 people are that are going home.
So Richard, you as a man as a host, right? Supposed to be checking up these things to get it on the next graded program.
Yeah, but I think the people who are slated to go home don't know yet. They don't know yet who is going home. That's why I said earlier that they are now. But I'm not hearing you. You have to talk closer to your phone. I'm not hearing you.
I think it's supposed to happen next month, right?
Yeah, sometime next month.
And then it's it's almost about 3 more weeks.
Okay, so we're gonna.
They're gonna have some kind of information out there.
We're going to see what information we can gather on that, but like I say, up I don't think we're going to know who the persons are, because we're only going to know that in the final analysis. The workers have a choice. They can choose to be retrained for a different job. They can choose to be sent to a different department. And if those things don't work out, then they will come on the list, for dismissal. So it all depends what the workers choose, what they say they want to do. So that's why at this point we don't know who the persons are that will. But the government decided that they want to reduce the number of civil servants. Yeah, so that's why they put out this figure of 40, of up to 40 persons. Hello?
Yeah, I understand all of that. I understand, but remember, the Dutchman here for a reason. And he's cleaning up a lot of mess with our local league. You understand? You was one of them who was in position.
For a short period of time, Mr. Short period. So the other them was there a long time more than me. So my period, and I ain't hire nobody with playing in the political jobs in the time that I was there.
Okay. But who are get? Who get?
Well, we got to discuss that another time. I can't go into details about those things at this moment.
Okay.
But
I'm listening to you, Mr. Smith.
But we need to gather more information. We need to get more information.
You need to give the people information. You can't be coming on a radio station and then you, as a politician, you wasn't. You understand? You was a heartbeat and they are defending our land. You understand what I'm telling you?
Yes. Well, so the callers are calling for all the politicians, not only Glenn Smith. They are calling for all the politicians.
I did not say you alone, and I said you and all the other.
Well, that's what I said. I didn't say you. I said the callers.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You have a nice day, my brother.
Thank you very much for the call.
Thank you. Yeah, but that bit about investigated journalism. Who going to do that?
Investigative journalism. Yeah, well, we have to work with what we got.
Exactly.
That's why we have a radio station here. We have all kind of programs. We have none of us are educated journalists. I didn't go to journalism school, and most of us didn't go to journalism school. But this is what we have in the island, and this is what we work with.
That we have to use.
We have to make use of it. And as a citizen, you have right. You have freedom of speech, as they say. You have right to go out and get information. You don't have to be a investigative journalist.
Well, who said they're going to give you the right information as a journalist?
Well, a journalist. Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, when I take up the phone, I need to answer the phone right away. I do not take up the phone until they finish the statement. I ain't telling them to run the program, but I running current here and back to everything. Waiting for you when you feel like to stop talking.
All right.
This discussion about 40 people going to be reshuffled, sent home, or give early retirement and all this nonsense. Why don't you call in Mr. Sagers and get him there on the radio to give the public an explanation with regard to the developments? And you must understand it's alleged that they want to bring in Dutch people here, whether they qualify, I don't know, but they want to bring in Dutch civil servants as well. But I think the reluctancy that is alleged, they don't want to be bossed by a station. They must be the boss. The station must not be the boss. So I think all department heads, as alleged, may have to be given early retirement or reshuffled or go on an upgrade course and reapply for the position of the meet requirements, etc., etc. So I think you outline it basically how it is, but I think you should invite Mr. Sagers to the radio station.
Of course.
Have a nice day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, that is definitely needed, and see what he's going to say about that, but I guess he's going to be vague about it anyway, because it is not he to make the final decision anyhow.
Well, the process is ongoing. The process is ongoing. There's no concrete decision making yet. The intention was put out there, but just the fact alone that people are going to be dismissed. I mean, if it's one or two people, okay, but when you mention a number about 40 people, I mean, 40 people out of our workforce, 160, that's a quarter of your workforce. And if you look at it at an island-wide situation, 40 people, that's a few $100,000 in lost income for a year, and that is definitely going to affect the economy as a whole, but also affect families and the local business. So they came out in the news and they put this figure out there about 40 persons, and that is where all the panic and the commotion is started, because 40 people, I mean, that's going to affect practically every family on the island. Yeah.
But direct or indirect?
Yeah, so indeed we need to get more information about it. But like we say, the process is still ongoing. So, but we will still try to get these folks, when they do have time to come in and talk with us. Good afternoon, caller. Good afternoon, caller. Okay, caller gone. You can try again. But anyway, we are way over our time.
Well,
we understand that this subject is very...
It's a hot subject because, again, people's job, is at risk. And something must be said, precise what's going to happen, after this process take place, because that is important. We know people going to go home, okay? I think most people probably, they're settling with that, but most people want to know what's going to happen afterwards, and that is their right, because they're going home, okay, there is no job, okay, they say there's no job for them, okay, so you're sending them home. So what's going to be the repercussion when they go home? Because with 3 months pay, I don't think that is a good idea. It's not.
I really fault the government, for putting this information out there like this. Let's take this call. Good afternoon, caller.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Schmidt. It's Shamara again. Briefly,
yes.
Just two things. In regards to the civil servants going home, I think it's important to put things in perspective, and I think that the college should know that what the Dutch government is executing now, it's not something new, but previous governments were asked in the past to decrease the civil service. I think it's important that we give this piece of information because it's a fact. Holland had always claimed that Statia civil service was too large.
But it's not only Statia, eh? All the islands had that. All the islands had that problem.
That problem.
Yeah, but
so for Statia, the local politicians were already asked by the Dutch government to decrease the civil corps, but they did not do that for whatever reason.
Well.
So now the Dutch is in power, and now they are executing the advice that they had given the local politicians. So people need to know that it's not necessarily about political appointments, because there are people who lost their job, who got their job based on their own merit. It wasn't political appointment, but people need to know that this was always an advice given. So that's one. So I think it's important that we reiterate that and that people know that. Number two, when I talk about investigative journalism, I am not necessarily. I know it would be good for more stations to go away from school, but I do realize that there are journalists from other islands, and I would hope that they would be more interested in covering the stories, because I call them and at times say, hey, listen, please check out what's happening in Statia. And I feel that more interest could be given to Statia. But number three on that is, of course, we don't have that. But what we lack are people speaking out. I write in the papers because I'm not afraid to speak. Whether I get cut or whether I don't get cut, I speak. I write. You, Mr. Schmidt, you write. You have been known to write. There are not that many of us who write and bring the information out. I have said in the past, and I would say again, I would hope that there are more stations who would not be afraid, and I understand the fear, who would not be afraid to let their voices be heard and speak for us. Speak. Don't let it just be Shomara. Don't let it just be Mr. Schmidt or even Kosney, because Kosney writes. Nobody stops him. He writes. But we need more voices. We need more voices to come out and give information or give a point of view. And don't let it just stay in Statia. Others outside of Statia need to read it as well. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Anyway, The fear factor, mentioned again. People are afraid to speak out. Well, we have a lot of questions as to why that is so.
The repercussion, I guess.
Well, so folks, we have a history here. When people speak out, there are repercussions for them.
Yeah.
So that's why people have learned, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Even so in all these forums, like you hear the caller say, everybody listening, but nobody don't want to call, nobody want to stay. You go on Facebook, it's the same thing. A lot of people in the group on Facebook, but only a dozen people are actually participating in discussion. Yeah, but okay, the folks have to decide to do that. As I said before, I fault the government for putting this information out there, for the 40 people going to go home without giving other information. Yeah. The issue that the column mentioned about that it was always a request from Holland to reduce the civil service. It's been like I say, on all the islands. You had government budgets are bloated. Yeah, and why are government's budget bloated? Because politicians hire a lot of people, whether you have work for them or not, you hire them, you put them on the government payroll. That's why I mentioned a while ago, 2/3 of the government budget is personnel costs. 2/3 of the government budget is for salaries and other costs that associated with it, like pension premiums and social premiums and those kind of things. We know in St. Martin and Curacao, the governments in St. Martin, Curacao, and years ago Statia also, but I think Statia had paid up theirs. Yeah? They owe, like the SVB, lots of money in social premiums. Because you have so many people employed working for government, but you can't pay the social premium. You can't pay the pension premiums. Yeah. So that's why in St. Martin now, for example, the SVB and the PCN, I think they own the government administration building for money that the government owe them. They say, well, you owe us this money, give us the building. Yeah, and with the government in the future hope to buy back the building from them. Yeah, so politicians over the years have just been very irresponsible. Yeah, we did not have balanced budgets. That's why we have a CFT today. Yeah, the government put the CFT in place to make sure that when you're spending money that you have budget for it. Yeah, in the past it was not like that. Yeah, politicians just hire people, put them on the payroll. Many of these people don't show up to work. They are ghost workers, but they get in pay at the end of the month. So there was a lot of confusion. So we understand that the civil service possibly may have to be reduced in numbers because you want to reduce the burden on the budget. Yeah, 2/3 of your budget going to personnel costs is a lot. So you want to bring that down. But in Holland, something like this, if they put that out there, they would have had to mention in the same announcement that there would be a social plan.
Right.
In Holland, that would be a requirement. They can't put something like this out in Holland and don't say that there's going to be a social plan for the people that are going to be dismissed.
That's scare tactics.
Yeah, and that's why that's why they do things here, different than they would do over there. That's why I say I fault the government for that, or these people that we have here, Status and Franco, of course, they are just following orders. Yeah? They are just messengers for Knups and the other people there in Holland. But what you're doing here, you must do the same thing like how you do it in Holland.
Back there.
You're going to send home people who work in 10, 20, 30 years. You have to announce at the same time that there will be a social plan for these people. Yeah,
that's true.
And that is what they're not doing. Because you put it out there now, 40 people going home, everybody frightened, everybody scared, don't know if I'm going to be one of those 40 persons, causing a lot of problems for people.
That's
true. So these are things we definitely have to present to Mr. Stahers, and I'm going to address that to him. You have to do things right, you have to do it proper. We understand you want to reduce people, but do it in the right way. And that's what we've been asking for all the time since they come here. Do the things in the right way.
Yeah, because that was the objective for them to come to do things better.
Well, they came to correct things. They see what's going wrong.
Yeah, well, what is it they're doing right?
Yeah.
Well, you see, all of these things have to be addressed. I know how people are feeling here on the island, and I don't blame them. Yeah. But the point is, we still have to sit down together, and work out whatever it is. Because if we start to fight each other, then nothing is not going to be resolved. This is one of the issues, because now this thing about sending home the people, I think it is affecting everyone. Everyone, and they should take this as a call, because these 40 people, maybe you're related or unrelated to them, but you see what happened to them. The first thing you're thinking, it could also happen to me. And that is where you see unity is very.
I say, it's going to affect practically every family on the island.
Right.
If 40 people in Statia, you're going to affect practically every family. Either your brother, your uncle, your aunt, your cousin, somebody going to be affected.
Yeah, and because we only have 3,500 people on the island, so that is the point. So you see now how important unity is, because now these 40 people they are sending home, we all, are sympathetic towards them. We all want this thing to turn out right.
No, but because it's going to affect all of us. It's going to affect the local business. It's going to affect a lot of things. 40 people in Statia is 1% of the population.
Yeah.
Compared to Holland, that would mean in Holland sending home 170,000 people.
Right.
Yeah. And it's going to affect the economy. So one of the callers mentioned about, I think we addressed that about who were appointed politically. I think the issue is not who was appointed politically, because as we say, that has been happening for generation. That's been happening all the time. And the question is that if these people have to be dismissed, what is their future? What is the future plan for them?
That is the main.
How they got in the job really doesn't matter at this point.
No.
Is what is going to happen from here going forward.
Yeah.
Well, folks, thank you for beating me up today.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one today. Yeah, well, sometimes these things happen, but as long as we get clarity in the matter, that is the most.
That's why we're here every week. That's where we're here every week, to bring information to the public and to enlighten the public with as much information as we have. And you are retired and I have my other work to do, but we still try to find information every day and come here to at least reflect on the news that is going on in the island every week. And it's all with the purpose to enlighten the public, let the public know what is going on. This is not political. Yes, I'm a politician, but I don't see my task here every week as a political job.
No,
my main objective is to make sure that the people out there have proper information and correct information. That's why you hear me from time to time. I criticize other party program, especially the Democratic Party program, sometimes when they come out with false information, with wrong information or misleading information. Because important for me is, that's why when I write in the newspapers, I try to give out accurate information. I want the people to be well informed. And it's what I do here on the radio, the same thing. That's the main objective, the political aspect. I've been in politics, but that is not the main task that we are doing here every week. It's about information. Anyway, thanks again, folks, for your contributions.
Sure
was an interesting day.
Sure was. Really enjoyed
all those who called and all those who didn't get no messages, but all those who called in with your comments. Let me see if I have something here. Okay, I think I see a message here. One message here says, information is always important, Schmidt, as long as the information brought forward is the correct information. Well, that's what we try to do, to bring information as accurate as possible. Any last word for you?
Yes, I was very pleased today that we had so many call-in. I think this is the time we had the most call-ins since I'm here on the program.
And that's how it usually goes in station. When things start to hit home, that's when people start to talk.
Well, this is important, and I am very pleased because, again, it's that same issue you were just discussing about these dismissal of the people. You see how much, how much stuff it stir up. That is what we need, and this is important for us. Take this as a warning call, that this is the way we have to do things.
But people have to be involved all the time, not always when it comes to a crisis. Always be involved, always express yourself, and let people hear.
That is the only problem we have here in station. They have to let it reach to a crisis. No, let it be full. You see, now, everybody is up in arms. Yes. this is wrong. We have to do something about it. But there are so many things that are going wrong. Yeah. But this one now touch home. It affect everyone. So today we get the most call at any time before. Well, sorry they had to beat up on you, but anyway, that's the way.
Well, it's the same. My shoulders are broad, so
right.
I can take a lot of blows.
Thank you,
We'll
folks.
try
And
to
call like that next week again.
improve our performance from here.
Yeah.
Thank you once again for joining us on the program today. Thanks to Radio, Mr. Pont, for giving us some extra time.
Thank you.
And we join us again next week, God's willing, when we'll have another program, Homeland Defense Live. Have a pleasant Sunday.